this week's motor show, Will Hoy shows how to lose it and how to get it back.
Eamon goes survival driving. He drives, the passengers survive.
And the Ibiza, it's got lots in common with the Polo.
But why is it £2 cheaper?
But first, a top fuel quarter mile, under 5 seconds, terminal speed 300, horsepower 5,000. Drivers need to learn somewhere.
It's 8 AM in Gainesville, Florida, and day 2 at Frank Hawley's drag racing school.
Frank is teaching a group of us how to run the standing quarter competitively, and that's something he knows all about.
I started racing when I was 16 years old, and my parents funded our first race car. They didn't have any money. They actually took a mortgage on their house to buy it. And I tried racing professionally after I left school. For 7 or 8 years, I slept in my truck. We didn't eat very well. It was a pretty rough existence, but persistence paid off, and back in 1980 I got called by a very good team over here in the United States. They hired me to drive the car, and then the American dream actually happened for me, where we won some world championships.
In drag racing, the American dream takes just seconds, but the most exciting seconds you can imagine.
I was told the nearest thing to the sensation of launching a drag racer was if you're at a red light and then a juggernaut comes and hits you from behind at 100 miles an hour. They were not kidding. Starting up's easy enough. Cooling system, ignition, starter button. So you burn out, you've staged, you're ready to go. So hard down on that brake pedal, then look at the transmission with the trans brake over here. Release the foot pedal and floor the gas pedal. At that point, you're holding over 600 horsepower at full throttle on that little button. All that remains now is to let go. I spent half the night running through those driving procedures in my mind, but unless I really impress Frank today, there's no way he's going to let me run that standing quarter mile. Thought of that's almost unbearable.
One other thing, I just want you to stop at the cone, hold the brake, bring the engine RPM up a little bit just so it won't stumble, and then just go right ahead. Let's take a look. Nicky, every time you back up over that direction.
Yeah.
Why do you do that? You like it over there better?
No, I feel as though I'm going dead straight. I seem to have everything, and I have the sensation I'm going that way, and I think, well, I can't be. Then I realise I've moved, and
then all of a
I
sudden,
know what it is. That's
there you are.
That's my hang-up, is the reversing and lining up.
It's working okay. It's just every time you do the same thing, and it's kind of the opposite of what Mike's been doing. So if you two got together, I think, and each of you took one half of the steering wheel, I bet you'd come right back in the center.
Well, that means I can't blame it on the car, doesn't it?
Right now, the whole class is waiting to see who will move on from the short practice runs.
Brett, how'd everything go on your run?
It's pretty good. I drove it out there and it shifted, and I got out of it. It felt pretty good.
Dave, did this go better?
The burnout was a little, I wasn't really happy with it. The actual run, the run was strong. You know, I like the run.
Nicky, everything okay?
Yeah, the run was great. Being able to go a bit further.
Tina, how'd it go this time?
I really enjoyed it. It was really fun.
What do you think?
Well, I've done the 800 now, but I made a stupid mistake. On the green light, I just let that throttle go for a moment. The computer will have spotted it, and Frank will have heard it, and that could blow my chances of the quarter mile. Just as I released the button, I think my foot twitched up a bit.
Yeah.
It went quiet for a split second. Then after that, it was great. It really felt great, but I don't know if I let myself be put off because my visor steamed up. And, I mean, that's not an excuse. I'm just saying I let myself...
It's a good excuse, though. I get people using it all the time. You might as well.
I messed up, that's why. Yeah, they've moved me on to the full run now. I'm surprised because of that twitchy foot last time, but let's give it a go.
A lot of motorsports, but especially drag racing, becomes more of a mental sport. There's a lot of things you need to gain control over in your mind, and there's a lot of discipline. There's only a certain way some things can be done and in a certain order. And if you get out of sequence, and if you're not paying attention to one small, minute detail, you can lose a lot of time out there on the racetrack. I've spent my whole life watching people drive drag race cars. I can see a lot of things that they do or hear things that they do. But what the Race Pack computer printout does is it backs me up, so I don't have to argue with the student. I can say, if you don't want to listen to me, just look at the paper. It's right there.
And this is it, the full quarter. What will that printout reveal about me?
Just as a matter of interest, who went the fastest in the class? Let's see, mile an hour.
141.
141, that's good for that car. Tim?
156.
Brett?
158.6.
158, pretty consistent stuff.
155.
155.
160.19.
160? My goodness. You'd think we did that for the media, wouldn't you?
I've driven less than 2 miles in 2 days. I'm still shaking from the sheer exhilaration. I think I'll be buzzing for weeks. If you're planning a trip to Florida, this place and the thrill of a lifetime is just 2 hours from Orlando. Who needs Mickey Mouse?